Hello, sixth graders, and welcome to 5.6. Today we'll be discussing how to divide fractions and mixed numbers. We're going to start off with a little bit of vocab, and then I'm going to give you a few ways in which I remember how to divide fractions for this section. All right, the first vocab word that we have is reciprocal, and the reciprocal is one of two numbers whose product is 1. And remember, product means when you multiply. So what this is saying is when you take a number and you multiply it by another number, it gives you 1, right? And actually, the multiplicative inverse is the exact same definition. If you've never seen this before, it's two quotes. That just means all of this is the same as this. Their definitions are the exact same, right? And I'm going to give you an example. Well, actually, I'm not, because our examples will do that for us. So one of two numbers whose product is 1. When you take those numbers and you multiply them together, you get 1. That might sound a little bit weird, but trust me, it's not too difficult, right? So here we're going to try to find the reciprocal of A, B, and C. We've got 3 examples here. The reciprocal, think 1/9 of what number is 1? Well, the other way you could think of this is by just flipping your numerator and denominator. So I'm going to make my numerator, my original numerator, my new denominator. So I'm going to put 1 on the bottom. I'm going to put 9, my original denominator, as the numerator. 9 over 1. Because if you think about it, 1/9 times 9 over 1 gives you 1. 1 times 9 is 9. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. All right? 1/9 of 9 is 1. Okay? So the reciprocal of 1/9 is 9 over 1, which is the same thing as 9. Remember, that just means 9 divided by 9, 9 divided by 1, which is 9. Okay? So really, it might be helpful for you to write this. Flip the numerator and denominator. That's essentially what reciprocals are. When you make your numerator your denominator and your denominator your numerator. So in this case, for 2/3, again, make 2 your new denominator and 3 your new numerator. And let's try to multiply them. 2 times 3, top times top, would give us 6, over 3 times 2 would give us 6, and 6 divided by 6 is 1. Perfect. So this would be 3/2. 2/3 of 3/2 is 1. Again, it would be 6 over 6, which is 1. Again, the easiest part to me is just, I think about it this way. Flip the numerator and the denominator to find your reciprocal. For letter C, it's a little bit different because we have a mixed number. So first, write your mixed number as an improper fraction. So remember how to do that. It's 3 times 5, which is 15, plus 1 is 16. That's where they come up with their numerator. And keep your original denominator of 5. All right. Now we have 16/5. So if I were to just change my numerator and my denominator, that would give me 5/16. Okay. 16/5 times 5/16 would give me 80 over 80, which is 1. So, or 16/5 of 5/16 is 1. You could think about it that way as well. All right. So my final answer would be 5/16. All right, I'm guessing you're starting to get the hang of it. If you need more help on reciprocals, let me know. Now we're actually going to put that to practice here, and we're going to use reciprocals when dividing. Because, and here's another suggestion that sometimes students like, is that when you divide fractions, you actually don't divide at all. Dividing fractions, you actually don't divide at all. And I'm going to put just a question mark there to kind of make you remember and think in your notes. Well, why wouldn't you divide? Well, because the simple reason is because multiplying by the reciprocal, which we just worked on, is the same as dividing. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to give you this nice acronym to use when dividing fractions called KFF. What that stands for is keep, flip, flop. All right? And this is the way we're going to divide fractions. So most important thing of today, please write down this acronym. Definitely a key idea. Keep, flip, flop. That means keep your first fraction the same. All right, so my first fraction is 8/7. Flip my division. So flip division into multiplication. Again, when you divide fractions, you actually don't divide. And flop the second number to its reciprocal. All right, the reciprocal of 7, well, 7 over 1 is the same as 7. And the reciprocal of that would be 1/7. Right? You'll see they did the same thing here. Keep 8/7 the same. Change division to multiplication and rewrite as multiplication using the reciprocal of 7, which is 1/7. It did the exact same thing. I just have a nice acronym for it, KFF, keep, flip, flop. Now we just multiply. Remember, you multiply your top numbers together. So 8 times 1 would be 8 over, multiply your bottom numbers, 49. 7 times 7 is 49, so 8/49. And do 8 and 49 have any numbers or any factors in common? No, they don't. So 8/49 would be in simplest form, and my final answer. KFF. That's how you divide fractions. Letter B. I like to write it. KFF. I like to start with my acronym. Keep my first fraction the same. Okay, that's 5/6. Flip division to multiplication. And flop this to its reciprocal. So flop 2/3 into 3/2. I'm flopping around my numerator and my denominator. Okay, so again, 3/2 is the reciprocal of 2/3. Now in this example, let's simplify before we multiply. Remember, you can look diagonally. 6 and 3 have a common factor of 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. Same as they got here. Simplify before multiplying. Now I'll multiply across. 5 times 1 is 5. Over 2 times 2 is 4. I'll now rewrite this as a mixed number. 4 goes into 5 one whole time, which is 4. And I have 1 left over to get to 5. So 1/4. 1 and 1/4 would be my final answer. Once again, I used keep, flip, flop, and a little bit of simplifying there to find my answer. All right, that does it for the examples. Please pause to try 1 and 2 on the check it out section and see how you do. Okay. The reciprocal of 4 1/8. Well, first, since it's a mixed number, I'll rewrite it as an improper fraction. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 1 is 33 eighths. And then the reciprocal of this would give me 8 33rds. And for letter B, it says to divide and write your answer in simplest form. Okay, here we go again, KFF. Keep my first fraction the same, 7/10. Flip division to multiplication and flop this number to its reciprocal. So 5 over 1. I will simplify before multiplying here. 5 and 10 could be both divided by 5, so that would give me 1 and 2. And then I'll multiply across. 7 times 1 would give me 7, and 2 times 1 would give me 2. And lastly, I'll rewrite this into a mixed number. 2 goes into 7 3 whole times, and 3 times 2 would be 6. I'd need one more to get to 7 and keep my original denominator of 2. So 3.5 for number 2. All right, that wraps up lesson 6 here with fraction operations and how to divide fractions. 2 biggest things. Remember, a reciprocal is just pretty much a fraction flipped. And how to divide fractions, you actually don't divide at all. KFF, and you keep flip-flop, multiply by the reciprocal. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Please let me know if you have more questions. I will see you next time.